So in this video, I will talk about split lighting. This is also a very dramatic light setup. It's very simple actually, because you just need one light source and the camera, and you don't need a lot of space. The split lighting means one side of the face is lit and the other side is completely in the darkness. When I do this setup, I'm using a normal reflector to get a really sharp edge between the light and the shadow. You can also use a bare bulb. So with the bare bulb, you get also a very hard transition between light and shadow. You also get a little bit of light from in the background. So if you don't have a normal reflector, you can just remove all the light modifiers and use a bare bulb. But then you need a little bit more space between your model and a dark background to get at least a gray background, or if you have a black background, it's getting even better. So you can also do this with a softbox, but then you need to move the softbox a little bit behind the model. Otherwise, you get some light spilling here on the dark side, and you're losing a little bit of the light here in the eye because of the moving the light backwards. Then you get also a little bit of shadow here, and I think it's not as nice. So you can increase the shadow or darken the shadows by adding a light blocker or a black wall or a black curtain, something that swallows light. Place it close to the model so it swallows the light that's been reflected by the walls or something like this. If you want to, you can also use something like a gobo or a light blaster. I'm using a round slide here, and so I also get a harsh light like from the normal reflector on a speed light. So the light blaster is a cheap item, and it's really fun to work with. Unfortunately, you don't have a modeling light unless you get the studio adapter. This can be a little bit of a drawback, but for this setup it will work really perfect. And if you have a light blaster, you can also create a slide that's just square and place it next to the camera, so like this, or on the camera actually, and then by definition this is also split lighting, as it really is light from only lit one side of the model. However, I think this looks a little bit artificial, and it looks like it's just darkened in post. So I would recommend to add another light source to get at least the outline here, something like a strip light or something that is really close to the edge where it's visible, and so you get a small line of light next to the model, and so like this, where you can really create a nice rim light, but you still have this sharp edge. You need to make sure the light blaster is set in really in the angle of the camera, otherwise it won't work. And also, if it's pointing to the model and it's slightly off center, it will create the shape of the light, so it will or the shape of the face, so it won't actually line up, because it will create this weird angle here. So make sure it's really at the same angle as the camera. Right on top of the camera will work. And if you want to get crazy with this setup, you can also have one side of the background white. So you get this complete split lighting where you have black and white in the background and white and black on the model. This is actually pretty cool. It's also very complicated because as soon as the model moves a little bit, it's gonna break this setup immediately. So it will only work if the model is looking straight into the camera and can hold still, but then it's a very fun and very effectful, dramatic effect. However, I like this one because it's a very simple setup, and this is something you can always do if you want to create just another different look in a shooting, because it's really quickly done, and you don't have to worry about too many things. The model does not have to worry about posing or something, because it's really looking straight into the camera. So I hope this video showed a little bit why split lighting can be cool and can be also playful. And I hope you've learned something and get some inspiration out of this video. If you want to get notified about new videos on this channel, just hit the notification bell so you get a message as soon as something new is uploaded. And you can also subscribe to this channel. If you have any questions, leave us a comment, leave us a like. This is something we really appreciate. And I will upload this setup or even this setup into the set.a.light community, so you can play around with it and use this as base for your personal inspiration. Have a nice day. This was Stefan for set.a.light.